First game, Collingwood versus Cats, 9th versus 5th. It's a Friday night game at the MCG. Geelong beat an informed Hawks. How did you feel the Cats were?
I thought they were great. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, without Tom Hawkins, they look freer. Their forward line's flowing beautifely.
It's opened up impressed. A bit.
It has. Yeah. It has.
Yeah,
Jeremy
they looked
Cameron's
really
starting
good.
To he's taking the lead now. There's always Tom Hawkins, and he'd be like a little side chain, have his good games, but now he's just like he's the man now,
Yeah, well, Cameron, I believe, had 4. Brad Cole, who I love, he's my little, for whatever reason, I think he looks like a Frenchman. He had
his
4.
Little mustache.
But they have a new guy playing for him, Shannon Neal, I believe. They love the Irish over at Geelong. They have so many of these Irish players. I love it. As far as Collingwood has lost 2 in a row. Mm-hmm. Did Collingwood ever stand a chance against the Bombers this last weekend?
I don't think so.
No?
I thought they had them at arm's length all game. They were in control. Lucky to lose by 2 goals, Collingwood, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, so everybody has been saying that Essendon hadn't played any top 8 teams. And considering the condition that Collingwood is now, do you have Essendon actually beaten a top 8 team?
I'm not sure, but we were discussing this yesterday. And, who finishes 4th? And it's like, well, someone's got to finish 4th. Like, it's, you can't have a 3rd and a 5th, right? Someone's got to finish 4th by default. Yeah. So it might well be Essendon, but it's not going to be Collingwood. I can tell you that much.
Who loses and why?
Collingwood, because Geelong's very good.
All right.
Plain and simple.
Easy,
I'm loving
easy,
it. I'm loving
easy.
Geelong again.
I agree. I think with Myercheck out, they're already undermanned, and Geelong look really, really good.
They do look
I
good.
think
it's Nick Dacos or bust for Collingwood, so...
Right.
Basically, yeah.
Next game, Cindye versus North. Number 1 versus number 17.
17. They're off the bottom. Finally.
It's a Saturday afternoon at the SCG. It's on at the exact same time as the Hawks versus Dockers. Thank you once again, AFL. And you know what? Also, I'd like to say a special thank you for putting the score on the bottom of the screen. So when we're watching one game, you're ruining it for us if we wanted to actually watch a replay of the second game.
So I've got a hack for that.
You got to put a book or something in front of it.
Yeah, someone said to put a tissue box in front of it.
Yeah. It's just of all the stupidity that they can do week from week. It's amazing. So anyway, last week I said that I didn't imagine a universe where St. Kilda beat the Swans, and I think we were in agreement about that. I also asked you what would happen to the footy world if the Swans lost 2 in a row and one of those teams was St. Kilda. And I think your response was very Carlton-centric, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's all the talk in Melbourne right now with...
funnily enough, the talk around that particular game is Isaac Heaney and whether he's going to get suspended.
I know.
That's the biggest talk from that game, to be honest. It's not that St. Kilda beat Sydney. It's just like...
No, maybe ruining his Brownlow hopes, right?
Absolutely. Even though I don't think he's going to win it, but he's in with some sort of a chance. But so that's it's going to be interesting.
That's it. No one's concerned about the loss for Sydney that St. Kilda.
No, well, there was a stat that someone said today. They've lost 3 games, Sydney.
Yeah.
With a total of 8 points.
Oh wow! Really?
So they're always in games,
So what did you think of the incident? Do you think it was nothing, or you think...
I think he should be fined.
Okay.
Like, don't be doing that stuff. It was a bit clumsy. It wasn't like he meant to hit him, but I know he's going to get a week. I reckon he'll get a week.
Okay.
I would challenge it, and I think he'll get off. That's my personal opinion. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about North for a minute. North beat... Who did they beat? I can't even remember right now.
Gold Coast. I told you. Gold Coast travel.
That's right.
No-brainer.
Yeah. So they were looking pretty good. It was a great moment for them. So who loses and why?
I think North lose.
Okay.
Not without a fight, though. I think everyone's going to... I think North's changed. Everyone's going to see, that North's not just a pushover anymore.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Heaney not play because... Not because I want him to be rubbed out and not win the Brownlow if he wins it, but I just want to see how the Swans go without one of those big three. Without, Heaney, Warner or Goulden.
Yeah, because they've been lucky. They haven't had any injuries in that department.
No suspensions, no nothing, right? So I'd love to see how they go without Heaney. So, but I still think the Swans... I still think North lose.
Well, surprise, surprise, we're in agreement again. I think North... I think North lose. I think it was incredibly exciting to actually see them win that game. But I just think Swans they have more experience. They're number one team. North is not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So it's a home game for the Swans. North are going down.
I agree.
So the Hawks are playing the Dockers. It is in Tasmania. It is a home game for Hawthorn. And where did the Hawks go wrong against Geelong?
Well, first of all, it was played at Geelong. It's a no-no.
Okay.
Secondly, captain's out. James Sicily, huge. With young sides, once they have one or two out of their better players, they seem to struggle. Ginnivan was out. He's been good this year for them. The lower sides need to have all their players playing well. And
to keep the balance, the chemistry,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
So, whereas you see the top teams, they kind of, a few players can be injured or out or suspended or whatever, and they can cover them, because they're a bit more experienced, The
Hawks have won the last 19 games they've played at UTAS. Ooh. And Freo haven't won there since 2015. Who is losing and why? Do you want me to go first?
No, I'm just trying to process.
I'm going to pave the way for you.
I'm trying. There's a hard drive in here it's spinning the wrong way. I don't know. Hawthorn lose because.
Yes.
There, I said it. You happy? All right, you got it out of me.
Yeah.
Because I really want to eat 100 nuggets.
Well, look, I think that Hawthorn lose. I think Freo is a top 4 team. And I think, truthfully, that they just really want to see you eat 100 disgusting nuggets. I think the word is out, and I think they're invested in this now. And so there's no way they're gonna let you off the hook.
Yeah, that makes sense. They haven't won a premiership in 25 years. So, eating nuggets a priority for them. Watching me eat nuggets.
All kidding aside, I think it's going to be a really great battle in the midfield. It could be a close game. And again, history is actually on the Hawks side, statistically. But I don't know. Freo are looking pretty good. So I'm going to say that the Hawks lose. So Bulldogs versus Carlton, 11th versus 2. It's a Saturday late afternoon at Marvel Stadium. So I'd like to know how you're feeling now. I want to know if your blood pressure has settled, if you're kind of back to some kind of calm status.
I am.
You are? Okay.
I was seething Saturday night after the game.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm okay now, but...
So what happened to your beloved Blues?
They had a cigar and whiskey at quarter time. They just sat down and just thought the job was done. And then the last quarter they thought, oh, hang on a minute. We're losing by a lot here.
They underestimated the Giants,
perhaps,
didn't they? They did. I think we all did, actually.
You loved it, didn't you? Secretly, you loved it.
Oh, there's no secret. There's no secret. But we will get to that later. The Bulldogs also, I believe, were a great disappointment for you this past weekend.
Absolutely putrid.
I think, actually, because everything we were in agreement about except for one game, Bulldogs are support. And I think I won that. So,
I think so.
What happened to the doggies?
They went limp, literally.
They went limp.
They were useless. They were absolutely useless. It's not like, he didn't play or he was injured or, geez, he had a bad game or, geez, they got they were absolutely hopeless.
It was terrible. Who loses and why?
Western Bulldogs lose.
All right. And why?
They have too many out. Like, Norton's out, Waitman's out. There's someone else with concussion who won't be playing this week.
Okay.
That's just too much. They're one of the sides that need their best players playing to give them any chance. And I'd like to think that Carlton won't take them lightly this week.
Shocker. I'm saying that the Bulldogs lose. Not a top 8 team in my book, and they're schizophrenic from week to week. You don't know which doggy team you're going to get. And Rory Law being tasked with trying to cover either Harry or Charlie seems slightly absurd, right?
Could be interesting, though.
Could be interesting. It'd be nice to see if Charlie decides to show up this week for his team. That'll be very interesting. Yeah, I think Carlton, for your sake, that Carlton will learn a few lessons from what happened this past weekend, and they will definitely beat the Bulldogs. Next game, Adelaide versus St. Kilda. It's 15th versus 14th. It's on at the same time as the Melbourne Essendon game. Again, thank you, AFL.
Yep.
It's a Saturday night game at the Adelaide Oval. St. Kilda did the unthinkable. They beat the Swans and they scored a bunch of points. Or actual goals. They scored a bunch of goals, right? 13 of them, I believe.
13-6, I think they kicked, which was interesting.
So, I mean, it was pretty good. How did it happen?
I think... So the only two teams to beat them... Well, Richmond beat the Swans earlier in the year, but the only two teams to beat Cindye have been lately Fremantle and St. Kilda, and they're very defensive sides.
Yeah.
So I think they went to work on just literally just not giving the Swans any space, which is, that's their speciality. Ross Lyon loves that sort of stuff, you know. And the Swans got sucked in and St. Kilda won.
Do you think Ross threw out his old playbook? Because they were moving the ball very quickly.
I wouldn't say he threw it out. I thought maybe someone had a word in his ear that said we need to try and score to win a game of football and not kick 60 points every week. So, or maybe he listened for once in his life, you know, because he's a very stubborn man. Now,
Adelaide was pretty competitive against the Lions.
They were.
Did you ever think they would have a chance to win that game?
No, I much like the Collingwood Essendon game, I thought Brisbane always, anytime there was a threat, they just shut it down and kicked a goal. So
who loses and why?
I think St. Kilda lose. I like that Adelaide at home. I really do. I really do like Adelaide. I think they've lost a lot of games that, not unlucky to lose, but they're playing well. They're just getting beaten by better teams. But they're actually going okay. They're going better than what their ladder position suggests.
St. Kilda have actually won a couple of the last few games they've played in Adelaide. I don't know. I honestly think this one could go either way. Like it's gonna be like a toss up.
I do agree with that.
It's gonna be a toss up, but I'm gonna stick with St. Kilda losing due to the home ground advantage. Your boy Rankin, I think he's amazing, and I love me some Keys. Ooh, I like that boy.
Is he a good player, Keys, or he just looks good? Which one is it?
Both. Come on. He comes through. He comes through when he's a clutch player. He comes through when he's needed, I think.
Fair enough.
Next game, Melbourne versus Essendon. I'm guessing you're going to watch the Melbourne Essendon game, not the Adelaide St. Kilda game.
It's going to be one of these ones.
Flipping? I know. Well, you know what happened this past weekend? I was watching the Port Adelaide game and I got bored, so I switched over. Melbourne had the Eagles basically on like a rotisserie spit, you know?
Yeah.
It was like juicy, good bird, mouth-watering perfection, basically, right? God.
Finger licking good.
What, if anything, is Melbourne taking away from the 9-goal victory against the Eagles?
Just the 4 points.
Just the 4 points.
You'd be silly to take anything away from that.
So essentially, Melbourne would just take that as a good training run. Would that be accurate?
Look, sometimes you just you play the bottom teams, you get the 4 points, you get the hell out of there, and don't worry about anything.
Essendon beat the Pies, as we discussed. Where are you ranking the Pies on the ladder? Not the actual ladder, but in your mind.
About where they are, probably mid-table. I don't know, they don't have an identity this year. Like, it's always been the come from behind win and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't know at the moment,
right now, it's actually Melbourne is 10th, Essendon is 4th. It is at the MCG. I forgot to mention that. Who's going to lose this one and why?
Melbourne lose because I trust Essendon more.
Because you trust Essendon more?
Yeah, I just don't think you can take anything out of the West Coast game for Melbourne. So
I agree.
I still don't know where they're at, but I know where Essendon are at. I know that they fight and claw for every possession these days, which is nice to see. It's a nice change for Essendon.
Yeah. Melbourne, as we said, can't take anything from the Eagles game. Super inconsistent. Forward line's barely there. Oliver was unremarkable. All right, next game, Sun versus Port, 12th versus 6. It's a Sunday afternoon at People First. So what exactly did Hardwick mean when he said that the players had to grow the fuck up?
Because they're babies. They sleep with the lights on. They travel and their mum's not there to tuck them in, and they don't play well away from home. It's a fact.
I mean, that's literally what it means?
Yeah, it means like harden up. Like you don't need to be babied anymore. You're grown men. You're playing a game of AFL football. Like harden the fuck up.
Tuke Miller's out. As we know, the People First Stadium has been a fortress. Port smashed the doggies, as I told you would happen. And
yes, you did, Cindye. Yes.
You rate the Bulldogs still, right? I mean, or is that
not
over?
Anymore. No, it's
not
gone.
Anymore.
It's gone.
My other question to you, how is it that Luke Beveridge does not tag Rosie or Butters?
He's delusional, Luke Beveridge.
Delusional.
Tim English didn't start on the ground or in the ruck. One of the best ruckmen in the AFL did not start the centre bounce. You want your team to get off to a good start. You have your best players where the ball... Like, I don't get it.
Anyway, did we even say who loses or why? We didn't. Who loses
game are we on?
Why?
We got sidetracked.
Port versus... Suns versus Port.
Oh, that's
Who
easy.
loses and why?
Port lose because the Suns are playing at home. It's just...
Okay.
It's just the way it goes.
Damn, son. I agree with you yet again.
Wow. So, have we got one wrong? One different so far?
No.
St Kilda Adelaide, or did you choose Adelaide also?
I said Adelaide was going to lose. No, I said St Kilda's going to lose. Adelaide's going to win.
Okay, so what game are we going to... There's always one that we
haven't got to it yet. I'm sure it's coming.
We're getting to... Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm sure it's coming. So Port Adelaide, they're going to lose because Gold Coast is at home. And they're going to have to turn it up because they got a tongue lashing from their coach. I think the midfield can match Port's midfield. I think they're going to win. It may be a shootout. I don't know. We'll find out.
I'd like a shootout.
All right, next. Richmond versus GWS, 18th versus 8th. They're back in the 8th. It's a Sunday Sunday afternoon at the MCG. So we'll start with Richmond. Bolton kicked 4 goals against Freo. I'm wondering, was he auditioning to be a Docker or an Eagle? What's going to happen?
Neither.
What's your thought?
Neither.
No, there's rumblings that he may go back to...
There could be rumblings. Maybe they can do a straight swap with Barras.
Oh, bite your tongue. Dare you. You keep going on about this Barras trade. What do you know that other people don't? Where is this coming from?
Somewhere. Can't say too much.
All right. How much credit do you give to the Giants for winning? Do you give them any credit at all, or do you just chalk it up to Carlton being lazy?
Oh, no. I mean, Carlton still kicked 16 goals and the Giants beat them, so you've got to give the Giants some credit.
I'm sorry, what was that? What did you say? I think there's a problem with my ear. You said you got to do what?
Listen there, Missy, all right? For once, I'm saying something nice about the Giants. For once.
So what could Charlie Curnow take away from Jesse Hogan's game?
Everything.
Everything
he did, you do that, Charlie. That's it. Simple.
He's fantastic. He throws off those JK vibes every week. I love it. The stutter, everything about it.
Oh, yeah, the stutter. I know. It's like he sold it to him, right?
Yeah.
Patented by Josh Kennedy. He sold it to him.
I'm not going to be using this anymore.
No, yeah, you can have it. Yeah.
All right. So who it loses and why?
GWS lose.
No. Really?
It's an ugly time at Sunday afternoon. It's an ugly time. Richmond beat Cindye. Everyone forgets that.
Yeah,
they're capable every now and again. I thought GWS played out of their skin on Saturday night against Carlton, right? Which is fine.
Okay.
I mean, they haven't done that for a long time. I don't know if it was just one out of the box or they can do it again. So I'm not trusting him right now.
Okay.
I don't trust Richmond, but at the G, it's going to be cold this weekend. I don't know. I just like... I like the bottom sides always set themselves for a certain game.
Yeah.
This could be the one for them.
So I'm conflicted, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm conflicted because last week I actually, temporarily turned my back on the Giants and then they won. So there's part of me that feels like I should say, oh, yeah, I agree with you. The Giants are going to lose because I'm a little superstitious about things like that.
Oh.
However, I am going to say Richmond lose. Same reasons as always. They're still undermanned. If the Giants can perform even half as well as they did against Carlton, it's a no-brainer. Okay. There we go. There's our game. Yeah. There's our fight for the week.
There you go. Well, we had to have one, right?
A little less painful for you, though, I think, than the last
one will
week.
Be, yes, yeah. yes, very much.
So, next game, Eagles versus Lions. I'm going to cry now. 16th. They're still 16th. Can you believe it?
For how long?
Yeah, versus 7th. It's a Sunday late afternoon game at Optus Stadium. The shit's hitting the fan in Perth. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things about that. Explain to me why it looks like Simo has lost his players.
I think they stopped playing for their coach when the wrong players are getting games and the results the same. They're in a hard position because they need to trust certain players. They need to trust someone to try and, and generally the leaders of the club, but they could be average leaders and it doesn't help. So other players get frustrated, hence the Barras thing they'll keep going on about.
Yeah.
I see the frustration. He and McGovern's got a big contract, so I don't think he's leaving. But
is it a conscious decision or is it just subconscious and it's just...
No, it's more subconscious. I think as a footballer or as any sportsman, you go out there with the intent of playing your best. Once it starts getting too hard, that's where your subconscious kicks in and it's like, really? For some of them, it's a job. Of course, they love playing football or else they wouldn't be there. But I feel like these days more than in the past, before it was full-time, that they're actually doing it as a job.
With that said, who loses and why?
Funnily enough, I'll tell you, I said about the Richmond game, like the bottom sides have usually they build themselves up for a game.
Yeah.
This is a West Coast home game, right? The weather will be nice. Like there'll be a full house there. Like Brisbane have to travel the furthest distance. So I'm going to say Brisbane lose.
Holy cow.
Yo, McGovern,
Yeah.
Plugger, Waterman, I've got some good players, right? This is the week. This is it. This is the one. They did it last year when they beat the Bulldogs when they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
They've got one left in them, and this is the one.
I am not going to agree with you.
Let's see what you've got to say about that, Cindye.
No, I think Eagles lose. It doesn't seem like they want to win right now. I don't know. I can't imagine with everything that's going on, all of a sudden they're going to play their heart out because that sends mixed signals, doesn't it? Like they either want them gone or they don't. But
true.
I hope to God that I am incorrect. I would love to be wrong. I'm okay.
I'd love you to be wrong too.
If Brisbane, is their normal selves, Hipwood and Danaher and Charlie Barras and McGovern, if he's even well enough to play, they just can't gobble everything up. It's not enough.
That's true.
Yeah, Eagles lose. Sorry. All right, well, that does it for round 18. Oh, my God, the season's almost over. Thank you guys for tuning in. Andy, thank you for being here. You can catch Andy at Ankle Sore. And see you next week.